What do you want? What do you want? What time is it right now? What day of the week is it right now? What month are we in? What season are you in? What year is it? It's a simple question. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? It's a very important question. We forget to ask ourselves. We get caught up in the movement, in the momentum of life. It's like a song and we're just listening along. But I believe the more often that you can ask yourself this question, the higher probability that you are going to get what you want. At a minimum, you're going to start to make some progress towards it. And the more incremental progress you make, the higher the probability that you will get closer to what you want. And life has a way with things. Life has a way with things. We all have certain dreams, certain visions of how we expect it all to go. And oftentimes it just doesn't really go that way, or it does, but maybe partially. But that's up to us, right? Did it only get partially there because we lost focus? Your friends invite you out. Let's go do this. Let's go out. Let's go out to the bar. Let's go walk around the mall. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend invites you out. Friends, family members, special occasions, birthdays, holidays. Let's celebrate just to celebrate. Hey, it's 420. Let's go do something. You could do it. You can always do it. There's always a reason to celebrate. Celebrate being alive. But this also is a reminder, if you're going to celebrate being alive, that assumes awareness that you are alive and that you have limited time here. You have limited time on this earth. What are you going to do with it? Make money, fuck, maybe make some kids and die? I'm not trying to be negative about any of that. Many of those things they can enhance your life greatly. And maybe having kids is what you really want, and that's fine. Maybe making money is what you really want, although I would say that's probably in the end going to be more of a hollow victory. Money can enhance your life, but money solves money problems. And just like alcohol in certain ways can uncensor and or amplify certain negative traits, money can have a similar impact if that's all you're chasing. And it's all you want. You can and you will get it if you are intent and you have enough talent and competence to do so. Some of the most wealthy people are not the smartest in the world. They're not the most competent in many other areas, but they might do one thing really, really well. So what is that you want, though? And I want you to think about this beyond food, because food is moment to moment. It's a biological need. We have to eat to live, to remain conscious, to remain healthy. I want you to think beyond just shelter. Think beyond the general Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're really thinking about maybe the top of the pyramid here, which is self-actualization. Okay, what do you want that is going to bring ultimate meaning to your life? The sometimes said saying that the two most important days of your life, the day you were born, the day you find out why. You could find out, but why not craft a vision for your life? Why not take advantage in full awareness of the limited time that you have on this plane? And think slowly about it. Be meticulous about it. Mold it like a sculptor sitting down and the clay is turning and your hands are like this and you have a vision in your head and you're picking parts off, you're adding parts on. use this moment, use today to reestablish what it is you truly want. Or at least begin thinking about it. Go slow. Reason your way towards it step by step. You will begin to make progress. What do you need to do this? How do you actually do this? And not just thinking. Your thoughts are they're just all over the place. Okay? They're just all over the place. And you might be wondering, okay, this is my first video in a long time on this channel. It's my first video in a long series of videos that I intend to publish on this, my personal channel. But why should you listen to anything I have to say? Well, you'll probably learn more about me as we go along in this series of videos. And if you like what you hear, if you're already getting value, blah, 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 yes, I'd appreciate it if you like the video and do subscribe so that you hear about future videos, okay? Because I am here to help you think your way to a happier, more successful, more meaningful life, and for all of our boats to rise together. And I'm going to be sharing with you what has worked for me in the past and what I am learning on the ground. And again, why listen to me? I am an artist, I'm an engineer, and above all, I am an entrepreneur. I started the business that I run today 14 years ago next month, and we have achieved some significant financial milestones, and we're doing well, and we're about to launch an AI growth platform for other businesses that I believe will be successful, and I'll be sharing what I learned from that as well. And I also I'm single, so I'm out there. I'm very social, and I've also created AI from scratch. So I have taught myself over a number of many years how to code, and I'll come back to that in a second. But getting back to you for a second, what do you need to actually understand what it is that you want? And I bring up the stuff about me just to sort of, share a little bit of credentials in terms of like, okay, so I have some experience in doing what I'm telling you can be helpful to your life, because I have made progress, very significant progress towards what I ultimately want, what the vision is ultimately that I want for my life and the impact that I want to have for myself, my friends, my family, and for all of humanity. So how do you do this? What is the best way to do this? Well, ideally, you would go to Amazon, your local bookstore, whatever is going to be easiest, and buy one of these, a journal. You could go to just a local CVS, pharmacy, whatever, and just pick up a notebook. It doesn't have to be a Moleskine, for example, although maybe those are nice. Picasso and some other great minds wrote in moleskins. But you could sit down right now, today, not leave your house, just take a piece of paper from your printer. Don't have a printer? Just get a piece of paper somewhere. Can't find a piece of paper? Go and get a napkin and a pen or a pencil. Don't have a pen or a pencil? Just cut your finger and start bleeding on the paper. Okay, don't do that. But you get what I mean. We get in our own way so much. We come up with excuses, so many distractions. This thing, it's a drug. It's a drug, and we in a way have productized ourselves, our time, our attention, the news, social media. We are the product for advertisers, okay? Constant stimulation. Our brains, in part, many of us, with the pandemic, staying inside, the fear around that, our attention spans became shorter, okay? So we need to work harder now in our lives more than ever in order to get what we want. But to do that, we must know what we want. So I want you to sit down after this video and just start writing. Just start writing. Just start externalizing your feelings and your thoughts. If something's bothering you, talk about it to yourself. But before you stop writing, I want you to arrive at some initial thoughts at a minimum of what it is that you want that you don't have now. Okay? And you can look at this from a different perspective. I mean, I don't call myself a Buddhist, at least at this point in my life, but I have been to a number of Buddhist meditations and events, and I respect it and have it in my life partially as a philosophy. That's at a minimum worth considering and meditating on itself. And part of what Buddhists believe is that, suffering comes from wanting and, desire. Okay. And part of Buddhism, as I have seen it, is sort of the acceptance that life in this way is suffering. And I don't necessarily buy into that myself. It's more about, and specifically about desire though, because we're talking about what do you want? It's natural. Like we need to want things, I believe. If you simply are to become without desire, you will not contribute to anyone or anything. So it seems a little bit like a contradiction, but I believe from talking with some of the monks that it's more like your consciousness of your life. You're in a room, okay? And desire is maybe over in the corner and you can see it, but you are separate from it. It does not drive you. It's something, it's like a pet, okay? It's there, okay? And it's going to feel irrational sometimes, but you can sort of choose where the pet is pointing its activity towards. But again, it's still something separate from you. It's not driving you. You're able to use it in a deliberate way, in a conscious way to direct yourself. Okay? And why do you want to put this down on paper? Because putting it down on paper, you're accessing a higher level of consciousness. This is not woo-woo. I know it sounds a little bit like when I say access a higher level of consciousness, but it's very practical and pragmatic. To write down and externalize your thoughts towards understanding what it is that you want. This is an exercise in becoming more conscious, more high level of consciousness, okay? Because in my experience, from journaling consistently, you're able to just think in a slower and deliberate way that is more logical, that sort of like takes ideas and is able to interrogate the ideas. Because what is consciousness? And especially this higher level of consciousness, which you'll be accessing when you sit down and write. Consciousness is the one who watches. Okay, I want you to think about consciousness is the one who watches. The one in your life, okay, who's able to step back and to examine at a 30,000 foot view, let's say, your actions, your behaviors, your past, your present, and what it is you want for your future. Okay, consciousness is the one who watches. Thinking about thoughts. Okay, thinking about, I am here now, this is what I am doing, and this is what I want. How do I move in that direction? What are the steps to get there? Does being here move me towards what I want or away from what I want? And I'll never forget, as a kid, my mom, the greatest gift I think that she gave me, other than giving birth, was she sat me down when I was probably around 7 years old, maybe younger, and she showed me what a journal was and how to use it. She said, okay, this is what you do. You take a pen and you basically just write about your day and you write about your thoughts. And, you know, and I fell in love with the idea because this was something private, it was something deliberate, and it just helped me to better understand the world from a very young age and to interrogate myself and the world and how to best navigate through it. So I encourage you to give yourself this gift as well. No matter where you're at in life, whether you've ever journaled or not, sit down and do it. It's worth it. Um, it's the highest form of consciousness that I've ever experienced, other than deep meditation, where you're very, very aware of your present moment, that you're here, that you're in it. Voice notes like on your phone or a tablet, or speaking or typing. You might say, can I do any of that? You can. Second best, I would say, would be to type it, but just disconnect. It's really important that you disconnect and slow down, because this is going to slow down your thinking. It's going to pull you away from that constant stimulation. Just set a timer even for 5 minutes and just start to brain dump what is on your mind, and you're going to naturally move towards figuring out what do you want, okay? Because you're going to get all of the maybe negative or positive or whatever thoughts about the present, past, or future out of the way, and then you're going to come back to what do I want. It's just a natural flow. It's a natural process. And voice notes, they're fine. They're okay. If you have a therapist, talking to a therapist, it's okay. Talking to friends and family, it's okay. But none of those work as well as just sitting down with a pen to paper. All right? Because it's about deliberately and meticulously in a focused manner. And that's part of what putting pen to paper does, is it focuses your attention and it slows down your thinking and it makes you more logical, okay? It's going to help you move your life towards a defined vision, your vision for what it is you want. You move towards a vision, okay? Like an artist, you're sculpting it on paper first. And that's what we're doing with this exercise. You're articulating the vision, you're building it on paper first. And coming back to what I was telling you before, so for me, part of what I've realized through both action and reflection, because what is it through journaling that we're doing? We are reflecting. And I believe there is nothing that you cannot fix, improve about your life that you can't accomplish through reflection. Okay? Because you're stepping back from the moment, the reflex almost without a will, okay? Because supposedly, right, many of us think, oh, I'm in control, I have free will. Then why are you always reacting? I say to most people. And maybe you're not like that. Maybe you're already knowing something about what you want. Maybe you're already kind of meticulous and slow in your thinking without journaling. You should still journal to reflect and to get to a higher level of consciousness. But for many people, free will is an alleged concept, okay? Me personally, I don't believe in it. I believe in what I call free influence. The idea that we need to sort of step back and craft our environment in order to influence where we want to go. And it is only through this way that we can achieve, I think, true free will, okay? Because the brain is very complex, okay? There are certain theories that it may be operating on a quantum level. But I believe in free influence, which I think is actually even better to believe in than free will. Okay, because there's more evidence than not that we, at least a lot of the time, don't lack free will because we're not even conscious. I mean, how much do you think when you're driving, for instance, or when you're just, I don't know, doing something that sort of feels automatic? How often are we really thinking, I am here, I am aware, I am right now? We just sort of go into these different compartments throughout the day in our mind. Even when we're working, even when we're doing, supposedly logical, critical thinking, like I'll be coding and I'll feel like there's like another part of my brain that I'm accessing. And then I sort of like come back and I like sit back and I'm like, okay, I just did this task. That's interesting. I wasn't fully aware that I'm here and I was like in the moment at the moment that I was doing it. It's kind of weird. But watch yourself critically and you'll notice exactly what I mean. Um, Now, speaking of coding, and to come back to sharing with you a little bit about me, so something that I want is I want to contribute something really important to the world. And part of how I intend to do this is I'm going to continue my journey learning about AI, artificial intelligence, through business and just experimentation on my own. And I just want to see, how far can I push it? My intention is to maximize the probability that the future is going to be good for me and for all of humanity. All right. Um, I do believe there are certain existential risks with AI. This is a topic I care about a lot. This may resonate with you. It may not. I used to be all doom and gloom about AI. I wrote actually a sci-fi trilogy about it back in 2017. Um, but now, since since the advent of ChatGPT and everyone is coming out of the woodwork, and 50% of people seem to have some sort of a doomer view about it. Me being a contrarian, and also partly because I'm sort of reflecting after hearing and being apart, separate from the people who are expressing views that I once very sincerely agreed with. Um, it gives me pause. It gives me pause. Um, I disagree that it will necessarily be apocalyptic. Great change? Will it cause great change? Yes, yes, it will. But not necessarily the end of the world or humanity. There are a number of scenarios that you can think of where this is what will happen with AI, which is why I believe this is a good problem for me to work on and to work towards contributing something meaningful and good on. I believe just something about me. This problem is built for me to work on. I love it personally. I'm very energized by it, and you know, I want to move the probabilities though in the opposite direction of doom and gloom. Okay, I'll move them towards something that is good for everyone. All right, including my own self-interest, my own rational self-interest. Because I do believe there are scenarios where, okay, if AGI was invented tomorrow, my first question is who? What single person or what small group of people are in control of this? It's not even necessarily an entity. AI is not even AGI, or more importantly, super artificial intelligence. They're these terms. They keep moving the goalposts in terms of what they mean over time. But super artificial intelligence, which can and will allegedly be able to improve itself at an exponential rate, it's not necessarily conscious, but the person who controls it or the group of people who control it will yield much power, because this will be like a lock picking entity that can go anywhere that is connected to the internet or Wi-Fi, whatever, and it can pick any lock and get into any phone. It can, nuclear secrets, yada yada. So, but we got a little bit of time before we get there. Before we need to really worry about that, and things are moving in a bit more of an optimistic direction with the release of certain open source AI models lately, like the one 2 days ago from Meta, aka Facebook. So working on this problem and seeing how far I can push it and sharing part of the journey with you, which is what I'll be doing in these videos, as well as sharing more of my thoughts on topics like this that have helped me to move forward in life and which I hope help you to move forward as well. This is what I want. So, and this problem, as I said, I feel is made for me. But what problems, put another way, what problems do you want to solve? Because answering that question and knowing that will help you to understand what it is you want, framing it in the form of what problems you want to solve. Because making those incremental steps towards what you ultimately want, you have to ultimately solve problems in order to get there. So that's another good framing of how to think about it. What problems do you want to solve? And then focus. 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 Cut off distractions. All right? Something we'll talk more about in future videos. And take the first step. The first step today, sit down with a piece of paper or a journal and just start writing. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Can you do 5 minutes? Yes, you can. And just don't try. Just bleed onto the paper. Not literally, per my previous sarcastic comment, but bleed onto the paper intellectually. Don't censor yourself. And you will come to the point of discussion with yourself of what it is you want naturally. You'll get all the junk out of the way, because if you haven't journaled ever, you're going to find it's very cathartic. It's a great release. You're going to feel really good. Okay, but you're going to come back to this point ultimately. It's the most reoccurring thing. Whenever I write, it's okay, what do I want? Okay, well, how am I getting there? And you start to analyze, you start to build and reflect, and you make progress. So take, as Bruce Lee said, to paraphrase Bruce Lee, take one definite step daily at a minimum towards your goal daily, or otherwise you might regret it. You may fall back asleep into the sad, unconscious, lulling you into an unconscious daze of momentum, of errands to run, of chores to do, of miscellaneous tasks and partying and drinking and maybe smoking, birthdays and holidays, just that old drumbeat of human life. And some of those things aren't necessarily bad. They can be very fun and very enjoyable and even meaningful in the case of friends and family. But be skeptical of this song that is trying to lull you to sleep. All right? Because so many people are caught up in it now. And the drug is more powerful. This drug of a song of life, alleged life, is more powerful than ever. And it will put you to sleep. It will put you into a coma, and you'll wake up in 20, 30 years, and you'll realize, what the hell did I spend my time on? And technology is part to blame for that. Social media, social networks, and so on. So live now. What do you want? I'll see you in the next video.